Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. This video is part 2 of where I'm working on an awesome flower bracelet with you guys. If you didn't see part 1, I will link it down there below in the description bar. In part 1, I showed you how to bezel these stones here. And in part 2, I'm going to show you how to bezel this little 8mm cabochon into this flower here. It's going to be pretty quick and easy to do. And then after I show you how to make this flower, we're going to make the larger flower for the centerpiece of our bracelet. And then I'll do a part 3 showing you how to put all of these pieces together. Here is the list of materials you will need to make one flower. You will need to cut 2 feet of 8-pound fireline. Now if you're using this flower to make a ring, you will need to cut an additional 2 feet. So I recommend that you cut 4 feet of 8-pound fireline to make this flower into a ring. But for now, I'm just making the flower, so I'm going to cut 2 feet of 8-pound fireline. And you're also going to need a size 10 beading needle. You will need an 8mm Preciosa cabochon. And if you don't want to use the cabochon, you can use an 8mm chaton, which is the same stone that's in this bezel here. And I was also wondering if just an 8mm bead would work, but the thing is, there's a hole in the bead, right? So you would have to figure out a way to stitch the bead into this flower so the hole doesn't roll up and stick up at the top. You wouldn't want to see the hole of the bead. But it's just an idea. You're also going to need 10 7x8mm rose petal beads, 8/0 miyuki seed beads, 11/0 miyuki seed beads, and 15/0 miyuki seed beads. I'm going to put the list of materials that I'm using to make this flower down there below in the description bar, and you will also see individual links to the materials that I'm using to make this flower down there below in the description bar. And like I said in part 1, I am using this subscription box here, Tulip Mania. This is for the months of May and June, so I will link the box down there below. But if you can't get the box, like I said, just buy the materials here to make the flower. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to start by picking up 10 8/0 seed beads. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, make sure that you have 10. Slide them down. And go back through all 10 of them, making a circle just like we did in the first 2 projects. Okay, I'm going to put my needle on my board, and I'm going to find the 6-inch mark for my tail, which is right here. So hold that in place and scoot those beads down to make a circle, just like this. See that, with my 2 tails side by side? I'll check one more time to make sure. Okay, and it's just a little too long, so I'm just going to pull it like that a little bit to make it go through. Okay, once you get your 6-inch tail, we're going to tie a surgeon's knot. So go over and under one time, bring it down, and I'm trying to make this into a circle before I get my knot. So there we go. Looks better now. Go over and under twice now. So 1 time, 2 times, and bring this knot down. Make sure that it's sitting in the right place and pull it tight. Okay, so just like that. Now I do have a little awl here, and I just use the end of it to push the beads out to make it easier to go through. I always use the pointy end of that thing, but I never thought I would use the other side for a project, but it worked perfectly. Okay, now I'm going to take the needle and pass through my first bead. I'm going to pick up a petal, and there's a top and back to this petal. So this is the back side, right? And that's the top. That's how, you know, it would usually look on a flower. So I'm going to go through the bead through the back side. Okay, so pass through the bead through the back side so that you're coming out the top like this. Okay, so slide that down. and then pick up an 11-0 seed bead, 2 15-0s. I think my needle is twisted and that's why I feel it's weird picking up beads. Okay, like that. And then go through a petal bead, but go through the top of it instead of through the back side. So I'm going down through the top like this. Okay, and I'll slide this down and show you what I got. Okay, so here's my circle that I made, and then I have this. Okay, now take your needle and pass through the bead here that you're coming out of, but then go through the next 8-0 seed bead. Just like this. Pull this down, and the petals sit like that, side by side, but as I put more and more in, they're going to be overlapping each other. So now I'm going to go through the back of a petal bead again. I actually flipped all of mine upside down so I didn't have to fuss with them, but I just want to show you that's the back side. So going through the back, coming out the top. Okay, pick up an 11-0, 2 15s, pick this back up again, holding it like this. Take the needle, pass through the 11-0 you already have there, through the petal bead, through the 8-0 you're coming out of, and then through the next 8-0 to step up for the next row. Pull this tight, okay, and then pass your thread through. Make sure that your petals are staying on the outer edge. It's going to get fussy, but as long as they're staying on the outer edge and they don't get stuck, like if this petal here flipped around to the inside, it would get stuck there if I didn't stop and take the time to turn it around. You always want to make sure the petals are sticking out on the outer edge because they will get stuck in the center, and we need our cabochon to go in the middle. Okay, so I'm coming out right here, and I'm going to pick up another petal, and you want to go through the back side and come out the top. Slide that down, pick up one 11-0 seed bead and 2 15-0 seed beads. Go down through this 11-0. Don't forget to go through the 11-0. Go through the petal bead and go through 2 8-0 seed beads. Okay, so we're going to be repeating this over and over all the way around until we have a circle. I'm not going to fast forward this though. I'm going to do it along with you guys. Okay, just like that. They will start to overlap for you. Make sure you don't have any thread exposed, and push this up so that it's sitting right on top of the ring. Okay, and now I'm coming out the bottom just like I did earlier, right there, and I'm going to go and pick up another petal bead. I'm going to go through the bottom and pick up an 11-0 and then 2 15-0s like this. Sew down through the 11-0, don't forget that 11-0, it's very important. Go through the petal, and then through the 8-0 that you're coming out of, and then through the next 8-0. Okay, pull this down. See that petal? It's wanting to go on the inside, so pull this row that I just did loose, and then pop that other petal in, and pull this down tight, and it will stop it from doing that. Okay, now I'm gonna start overlapping these. It might not stay, it probably won't, but it's taking up a lot of space like this. Now if you look, the second time I made this, when I was designing it, I realized my petals, the second time I did it, were going in a different direction. So see how mine are overlapping like this? So I just want to make sure that the one I'm making now matches the first one and that it's overlapping in the same direction. So, like that. Okay? I'm going to pull this tight, get my needle again, and pick up the same sequence of beads. Okay, petal bead going through the back, coming out the top. 11-0 seed bead and 2 15s. Going down through this 11, down through the petal, down through the 8/0 like we have been, through the next 8/0. So I just want to pop that forward so we don't go through there and twist our needle around that thread that's inside. Pull this down, make sure that petal is sticking out because it always wants to go inside like that, and it will go underneath that petal there so we match this one. Okay, so pull that tight, and there we go. So far we have 6 petals, 4 left. I'm going to do the same thing again, go through the back side of the petal, coming out the top, pick up a 11/0 and then 2 15s, stitch down through the 11, through the petal, through the 8/0 where thread's coming out of, and then through the next 8/0. And I go upside down like this so my thread doesn't get stuck in the petals. And even doing it that way, make sure that this stays out. So I'm going to tuck this petal underneath my first petal there. It's not my first one, but you know, the one before it. Come out the back. Okay, and just make sure that you have them overlapping like this to make it easier on yourself. Pick up another petal again, another seed bead, 11/0, and 2 15s. I want a chunky one. Like that. Slide these down. Go through the 11/0, the petal, the 8/0, and through the next 8/0. When I was making this, the mistake I kept making was I kept forgetting to go through the not the 15, the 11/0 that was on the top. And I had to undo it. I think I did it twice. So go in the back, pull that tight, so it looks like this. Looks great. And I went through all the 11/0s, okay? So again, pick up another petal, go through the back, come out the top, pick up an 11 and 2 15s like this, go down through this 11 on the top, go through the 8/0 that we're coming out of, see that? And then through the next 8/0. I'm going to hold this upside down like this so that our petal pushes out that first one. Okay, and I'm just going to position my petals here, and it gets a little sloppy, but it will all straighten out for us. Okay, we just have to get our last one in, and that'll fix everything. So coming out the 8/0 on the back, this is my working thread, that's where I tied my knot at with the other thread. Pick up your petal bead, the last one, number 10, your last 11/0, and 2 15s. Okay, right there. I'm going to go down through this 11 on the right side, down through the petal, then you want to flip it over and look at the back. I can see that my tail is coming out of this 8 right here, so I'm going to go through that one, right, that's where I started, or where I'm Xing it up, and then reposition my needle through the next 8/0. Again, this is the same stitch. We have not changed anything. We've done the same thing 10 times all the way around. Pull this down, and this is going to fall right here into place. Again, it's better to hold it upside down. It just works better. Okay. So I'm just nestling this into place, pulling it tight. Looks messy. I haven't completed the top yet. I'm going to go through the next bead. Oh, wait a second. I can't. I have to do that first. So pull that tight. Just want to make sure that, yes, it's laying right. I'm gonna go up through this petal bead. So see, I have, that's my tail, we have a knot tied here, right? Remember? I'm gonna go up through this petal bead, flip this over, and go through this 11-0. See that? Okay. And this needs to go down. Let me see. This one flipped on me. So I'm just gonna straighten that out. Like that. Okay, I have to pick up my 2/15s in order to make this straighten out for me. So 2/15s this time, no 11s, because we're using the 11s we already have. I'm coming out of the left side here. I'm going to go around and go in here because we have this petal that keeps sticking out on us. And you just want to go down through the petal here on the back side. Okay. So look at that. We have to fix how these are laying. So I have to overlap this one here, overlap these two. Okay, I have to go through my 8/0 seed bead. So coming out here, see how we have, if you look all the way around, see how there's connection points? Right here there are no connection points. Do you see that? Actually there's one. There it is. But right here, this is where I have to go through. So I'm going to go through this bead. And then I'm going to fix this. I'm trying to make it look tidy so you could see what's going on better. Okay, back side looks better than the front. Now it's open on the top because we have to put our stone in. Okay, so here I am, and this is back at the start. Right there's our first tail. I'm gonna go down through this flower, through the petal, okay, and come out the top of the flower petal. So we're now at the very beginning where our first tail is. That's where you should be. Okay, stop and pull this tight. And it looks good. Okay, so I see a little loose gap there, so I'm just adjusting my petals and pulling this tight, wiggling it to make sure everything's sitting right. Now I'm going to close this up, and I do it before I put my stone in because it's such a huge gaping hole. I go through 2/15s. I'm going to the right because I'm right-handed. I go through these, and then I lift up the next two and go through those. Now I don't pull my tail or my, yeah, I don't. Here, I'll slide my needle down. I don't pull this tight. I'm just passing through, and I like to go through 4/15s at a time. Okay, but don't pull it tight. Again. Okay, when we go through the last area, that's where we're going to put our stone in at, and then put all tight at once. Right here. Make sure the petals are overlapping. Okay, put our cab in. It wants to go upside down, of course. And then, like that. Put your thumb on that. and pull it down. And there we go, like magic, we have a gorgeous flower. Okay, I gotta get my tail out of the way. That is so pretty. Now you can fuss with your petals. See how this is not round? So I use this here to make it round. Straighten out my petals. They got loose on this side, so I'm gonna pull that tight again. And it just looks so good. So now what I'm going to do is reinforce the top again because it keeps wanting to open on me. So I'm just going to stitch through all of them again. And what I do is I leave that loop right there at the beginning so I know where I started. Okay. And I just go around 4 15s at a time. 4 again. And I'm gonna, this is getting loose again, so I'm putting my fingernail in there and opening that up, and then I'm passing through these 4 because I just want to get back to where I started. Okay, then I'll put my finger in here, both fingers, and I'm going to pull this tight, pull the loop tight, okay, and then pull my tail right here all the way through so that it is tight. Yes, it is so pretty. It looks perfect now, absolutely perfect. Okay, we have to tie knots, and I like to follow my old thread path, which is what I always do, but like I kind of wanted to tie knots up here in the 15s, but I think it will be seen. So what I did with this one is I just tied my knots in the back. See that right there? There's 3 knots over there. I think there's 3 on this side too. One of them's hidden. These knots are visible, but they're not really visible because it's in the back side of the bracelet. And who's going to look at the back side of the bracelet other than you, right? Okay, so I'm going to take the needle and go down through this 11-0 and through the petal bead. I'm going to grab these threads right here, and going through like this to grab them is kind of hard, so what I did is I turned it this way and I went through here, okay, and I came out. Where's my needle? Right here. See this? I'm not going through the seed bead. I'm going through at an angle like this. Put your finger in here. Pull this thread through, and so that the thread will pop up right here on this back side. Okay, and it's just around the petal here. So I go like this, and I go through this loop twice, and I pull that tight, and it's right there in the back of the petal. Then I go through 1 8/0. I squished my back again. So through 1 8/0. You can tie a knot here if you want, and then go up into the flower. So I think I will do that. So again, turn it this way, go through here, it's on the wrong side. Okay, like that. Add an angle, and then grab this loop in your finger and pull it to here. And oh my gosh, I'm going around 2, so I can't do that. So I'm gonna have to undo that. And so I think I'm gonna take my needle off because I don't want to get tangled up. I'm just trying to grab onto a thread there though in the back so I could tie knots. And I accidentally went around too much. Okay, so trying again. Right there, that's where I gotta be. See where my needle's coming out? Right in between those 2 threads. I just need it to go a tad to the right. So, almost got it. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through, and then I'm gonna go underneath that little thread. So there I am. Okay, and then put my finger in here and pop this thread right there to where I need it and tie a knot around there. And I think I'll do this one more time with you guys just because it probably looks confusing. Okay, now I'm going to go up through here, through this 11-0. Use my awl to make that come out for me. Okay, up through the 11. And then through these 2. Ouch. It bit me. And then down through these 2 11s and the petal and tie another knot here. Okay, so I want to catch these 2 threads, so looking up I have to go down through right here. And it's doing that again to me, so I'm just going to go with it. And then I'll stitch around those 2. This did not happen to me at all when I tied it the first time. Sometimes I think just weird things happen to me when I'm filming. I've even noticed like other YouTubers I watch were like, it totally went fine the first time, you know, I was doing my nail art and then I went to do it on camera and it screwed up. So through this loop twice, pull that knot down, and then through the 8-0, tie another knot here. Okay, and then stitch back up through the petal and through the 11-0, and then I would just tie, or not tie, but hide my thread up here. So I'll go through a few beads and I'll just snip my tail off after I go through maybe 6 15s, maybe 4 15s on top, and then I go to this one and I do the exact same thing. So that's it for this flower here. Now I'm going to show you how to make the big flower, the centerpiece. I'm back and I just wanted to show you guys what I was talking about earlier. I just passed the needle through the top and it came out right in front of the knot, like I've been wanting to do all this time on the first try. Let's see, let me see if I can do it again. Yes. So that's what I was doing the first time I made a flower and I had no problem. Okay, and then I just grab the loop, pop it to the back side, pass through here twice. and slide that knot down. So that's what I was talking about. I'm back and I'm all set up to make the big flower, and I'm very excited. As you can see, it is coming together here, and so far you guys only seen the big flower in the picture. You haven't seen me holding it to see how big it is and to see the detail and stuff of it. So let's go over the list of materials you're going to need to make the bigger flower. You're going to need to cut 3 feet of 8-pound fireline, okay, and that's not very much thread at all to make this big flower, so kind of surprising. You will need a size 10 beading needle. You're also going to need an 18mm Preciosa Rivoli. So I believe that I'm using all of the cabochons and Rivolis in this subscription box, all 4 of these. You're also going to need 10 5x16mm 2-hole dagger beads, 10 7x8mm rose petal beads, 10 3x5mm gekko beads, 8-0 miyuki seed beads, 11-0 miyuki delicas, 11-0 miyuki seed beads, 15-0 miyuki seed beads. So this is the list of materials I'm using to make the large flower. I'm going to post the list down there below in the description bar, and I'm also posting individual links to the materials here that I'm using in case you want to go buy the materials. If you want, you could just, by the way, make this flower as a pendant. You don't have to put it in the bracelet. And this bracelet I am making can actually be made into a necklace. Instead of stringing these together when I'm done with all of these in a straight line, you would just string this here straight, and then you would angle the way you're coming out of the centerpiece to go like this. So it would be a necklace. So it's the same as the Art Nouveau bracelet that I made. It could be either or. There's so many options. It's really incredible, and I hope that you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I'm gonna start by picking up my 2-hole dagger beads, and you want to go through the first hole, okay, and then an 11-0 seed bead, a dagger, 11-0 dagger, 11-0 just one dagger, 11-0, and you're going to do this and pick up all of the daggers. We're going to be 10 daggers and 10 seed beads. So I picked up all 10 daggers and 10 11-0 seed beads. Looks like this. I'm going to slide these down. And just like with everything else I make, I'm going to leave a 8-inch tail. Not an 8-inch tail. Good lord. I'm going to leave a 6-inch tail. So I'm going to go like this, hold my place here, slide these down, and get one straggler. Hold it like this, pass the needle through all of these. You might not be able to get all of them in one shot. Let's see. Almost. Okay, I did it. So I'm going to grab here. I'm trying not to lose my place. My 6-inch mark. I'm holding it. Slide these down. Oh, I lost it. Pull this down. Okay. Okay, so I'm measuring this, and it is at 6 inches now. So I'm going to tie a surgeon's knot. So I'm going to go over and under once, bring that down, pull it tight so that you have no loose thread. Okay, it should look like that. And then go over and under twice. 1 and 2. and bring this knot down. Bring it down, pull it tight. Now take your needle and pass through this dagger here. You can pull the knot like this, get it out of your way if it's blocking your hole. Okay, go through the dagger only. Pull the thread through, and then go down through the second hole in this dagger. So we're now changing direction, and so I'm going to flip this over to make it easier, and we're done with the ruler. I'm going to pick up an 8/0 seed bead and fill in this gap right here. Okay, and I'm just going to do this all the way around, 1/8 at a time, going through the next dagger. You just have to pay attention when you're doing this that your thread, your tail, does not get caught around the daggers, because it wants, see, it loops around the daggers. It does it almost every time. So just be aware that you don't let it get caught up. And I'm going to do this all the way around. Okay, I'm at the close. I have my 10th 8/0 seed bead here, and I'm just going to go through that last dagger. Okay, so you should now have what looks like this, and this does slightly dome for us, and it's awesome because it just holds. See, it's very slight. It's going to dome a little bit, and it just holds the Rivoli perfect. I'm really happy with how this turns out. Coming out the dagger, you want to pick up a 15/0, a petal bead, and you want to go through the back and come out the back, this one, and come out the top. Okay, and then pick up an 11/0, a 15/0, a gekko bead, a 15/0, 11/0, petal bead, go through the top, come out the back, and a 15/0. Just like this, it's very important that you start and end with the 15/0. Okay? Slide these down, and you're going to see why I did it this way. Pull this tight, take the needle, pass through the dagger and through the 8/0, like this. Pull this through, but not all the way, because I want to make sure that I get this tight, pull it tight, and then pull the beads through. Hold it upside down so that it lands like this on the top. Okay, and then pull this tight, and it should be to where this, see how it's kind of, not that extreme, but it's kind of curled up, the daggers are curled up like this on the sides. It's not laying completely flat. Like a flower, it has some dimension, see what I'm saying to it? So you want to get it tight like that. Okay, and I'm going to take the needle and reposition it. I'm going to pass through, I'm coming out the 8/0, I'm going to pass through the next dagger to pick up just the dagger so I can pick up more beads. So I'm always coming out of the dagger when I pick up more beads, not the 8/0. Pull it tight. Again, tension's very important right now. You don't want to go too far. See, you want to have it standing up some on the edges. Okay, I think I have a good. Pick up a 15/0. Don't forget it, because I forget it. Go through the petal bead, and then an 11/0, and then a 15, and then a gekko, and then a 15. Ow, my needle is, not my needle, what is this? My thread, there it is. Let me do this again. So like this, just like that. Slide these down. Now just like when we made that flower right here, we're going to go back through the 11-0, okay, and the petal bead. Now you're going to skip that 15-0 right there. Do not pass through it. Pull this through, okay, pick up a new 15-0 like this, and go through the dagger and through the 8-0. If you can, go through the next dagger. It's a little hard. I don't want to chip the bead, so I'm going to back out and just go through that 8-0. Like that. And then I'll turn it sideways so you could see. Pull this through. And this seed bead, this 15-0, is going to sit right beside the other one. Like that. See? There's two there. You should have two 15-0s under each petal. Now this one here only has one, but when I come back around, I will put the second one in there. Okay? Very important in order for this to sit right. I'm now going to take the needle. I'm coming out of the 8-0. I have to go through the next dagger in order to pick up more beads. And see how my thread was sneaking? It just looped around that dagger. Always got to pay close attention to that. It does not matter that I've beaded for 25 years. I always make mistakes, but I think it's good because it teaches me how to get around them, and it helps me to help you guys in case you have the same problems. Okay, so now I'm coming out of the dagger and I'm going to pick up more beads again. So we're repeating this pattern over and over. You're going to pick up a 15-0, a petal bead, and you want to go through the back side, an 11-0, a 15-0, a gekko, a 15-0, just like this. Okay, it's kind of a lot of beads to pick up at one time. Slide it down your needle. Go through this 11-0 in the last petal, but don't go through that 15. Your needle will want to pass through it. Just flip it over, make sure you can see back there, and avoid that 15. Go through. Okay, pick up a new 15 and fill this little hole in here. So I'm going to keep holding it upside down and go through the dagger and through that 8-0 there. And I'm going to turn this around again because I want you to see this bead going into place. And if you just lift that thread up before you pull it down, it doesn't get caught. Okay, so see, two 15s, two 15s. These little beads on the back side of the purple petal is making it sit up. It's propping it up, and it's going to make it lay so beautifully around this. Okay, I know it seems like such a little stupid thing, but it actually makes a difference. Believe me, whenever I make these designs, I make them, I take them apart, and I do it over and over until I perfect the design before I show it to you guys. So I know what works and what doesn't work by the time I go to film the video. Now take the needle and go through the next dagger. We have to put more petals on this one. Okay. Pick up a 15, a petal bead, go through the back side, 11-0, a 15, a gekko, 11-0. Just like this. Slide these down. Again, we're still repeating. I'm just doing it with you guys because I want to make sure you could see what I'm doing and understand. Go through this 11 and through the petal. Don't go through the 15 on the back. Okay, pull it through, stop, pick up a new 15. And there it is. Go through the dagger and through the 8-0 that's beside the dagger. Turn this around. every time. It's because I'm holding it up for you to see. That's why it's going around there. So 3, or yeah, there's 3 done. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here I am. Now this time I'm not going to show you, and I'm just going to let it fall, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to go through the next dagger. Make sure you're keeping a very tight tension. Very important. If it starts to get loose in you, you will have to undo it to where it's loose at and pull it tight again. But you can already see how these are starting to lay. I'm so happy with this. Okay, pick up another 15, another petal, go through the back side, come out the top, pick up an 11-0, a 15, gekko, and 11-0. 15-0, excuse me. The silver ones, the matte silver, are 15s, and the rainbow bronze are 11s. Sometimes I misspeak. I just can't help it. It happens. There's a lot going on right now, and sometimes I just say the wrong thing. But if you watch what I'm doing, it actually makes more sense than what I'm saying. Now go through the 11-0, just like we have been, and through the petal. Do not pass through that 15. Skip it. You want to skip it every time. Pull your thread through. Pick up the new 15-0. Go through this dagger and through the 8-0. Now I have been showing you this part here like that, but this time I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to take the needle and just pull it through, and the thread should go right, and the seed bead should go right into place. It got twisted on me. But I was just trying to show you that it's not going to get caught around that petal because I was holding it upside down and gravity was making it go down, so it was not going to be wrapped around the petal. Now I have to pull this tighter. There, looks good. I'm going to take the needle and pass through the next dagger. Now, mistakes I made on this, which I did it with the other flower when I was designing it, is I forgot to go down through the 11-0, and I would just go through the petal bead, and I skipped the 11-0. But it looks like we are doing it right. And also check underneath. I have my 15s. At the end you should have 115. In the beginning you should have 115 because we're still adding. So that's what it should look like so far. I'm in position to add more beads. So I'm going to pick up a 15, a petal bead, 11-0, a 15, a gekko, 11-0, like that. Slide them down. Go through the 11-0 in the petal only. Come out, turn this around, pick up 115 and go through the 2-hole dagger and through the 8-0 like this. Again, hold this facing down, hold your tails like this, and that 15 goes into place, and then flip these up, hold it like this, and pull this tight. Again, reposition the needle to come out the dagger. Pull it tight. Pick up a 15-0 petal bead, 11-0, 15-0, gekko, and 15-0. Slide them down. Go through the 11-0 and the petal beads only. Don't go through the 15. Don't forget it. Focus. Pick up a 15. Go through this dagger, right? And through the 8-0 seed bead. Turn this around so gravity pulls the thread down and you don't get caught around the daggers. And see? Right there it is. Second 15. Okay, pull this tight. go through the next dagger. Coming out the 8/0 right here, going through that next dagger. See? Careful you don't get wrapped around. Also check the back to make sure there's no thread paths wrapped around the daggers. Pull it tight, and again pick up a 15/0 and then a petal bead, and then an 11/0, a 15/0, a gekko, and a 15/0. Slide them down, go through the last 11/0 and through the petal bead. Come out the back, pick up a 15/0, okay, go through this dagger and the 8/0, turn this around, and then right there, that second bead just went into place. So see how those two beads are making that purple petal just stand up for us. It's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, I have to reposition the needle again. I'm coming out the 8/0. I need to be coming out of a dagger in order to add more petals. Pull it tight every time. Pick up a 15. My last petal. 11/0, 15, a gekko, and a 15. Just like this. Slide them down. Again, go through the 11/0, the petal bead, come out the back. Make sure all your petals are facing outward. Pick up one 15, go through this dagger and through the 8/0. Flip it upside down again so that the thread falls just right. Pull it tight. There's the back. And right there, see those two 11s? So here I am. We're at the close. We have one dagger left. And again, just like every time we've been doing this, you're going to go through the next dagger to add another petal. Okay, so up through the dagger. Wait a second, did I forget? No, I didn't. Okay, that's right. Okay, coming out of the dagger, this is what it looks like. See, I have 115 there, 115 there. Coming out of the dagger, I'm going to pick up 115/0. Now, what would I normally do? I would pick up another petal, but there's no more to pick up, so I'm going to go through what I already have. So I'm going to go up through the bottom of this petal, and up through the 11/0. Okay, and then once you get up through there, stop and pull that tight. Now my tail's being naughty. It's getting in my way. Okay, so I'm just pulling that tight. I came out of the dagger, picked up the 15, went up through the petal, came out the 11. Now pick up what we would usually pick up, and that would be a 15, a gekko, the last one, and a 15, like this. So down through this 11 and through the petal, as we would usually do, right? But don't go through that 15. Just like that. Now when we get down here, we always pick up another 15 and go through the dagger. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to turn this, and I have to pull this tight here, and then pull this through. Make sure not to catch anything, and it's perfect. Okay, take the needle, pass up through the 15 this time because we have to reposition our needle. So right here, this is one we added, and then up through the 11-0 like this. Okay, and pull this tight. And let me flip these out. Okay, oh, and there we go. This is not what we now have. Okay, now take your needle and pass through this 15, the gekko, and the 15. These 3 beads. Like that. And I have to admit, when I was making this, I was so worried that the gekko beads were not going to lay flat. And I figured a way to keep them flat, so it turned out amazing. Now take your stone and pop it in. It literally pops in. And there we go so far. Now you're going to want to go around here. Okay, just like this. Going through the next 3 beads, 15-0 gekko, 15-0. Like this. And this is going to help us keep our stone secure. And you're going to want to do this all the way around. Going through 3 at a time. Now, right now these beads are still flipping up, but it's the next thing that I do that keeps them laying flat after this. Okay, so stop and pull it tight, and when you pull it tight, see how they want to lift up? We don't need them to stand up, we need them to lay down. So it's the next stitch that I do after this that will make them stay in place for us. Okay, so just keep going. So the theme of the subscription box that I'm using to make this is called Tulip Mania, but I kind of think that this flower here looks like a lotus or a lily. So at the time I'm filming this, I really don't even know what I'm going to call this because it doesn't have a tulip vibe to me, but it's very much floral. Oh, am I around? Yes, I'm back at the beginning. Okay, so passing through the first row to complete the circle. Pull it tight and they stand up, okay? But it's the next part that's going to make them stay laying flat. Now what I'm going to do, I need to adjust my needle. I'll slide that down. My thread there. Okay, I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to go up the next 15 like this. Through the 15. Now I wish that I kind of could have stopped here because I do like this more open, but I had to do the next part to keep these petals laying flat. Now what I'm going to do is pick up 2 15s and sew down through the next 15 right here. If you want, you can try and do both of them, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I do one at a time. Just like this. Okay. And they just sit right in front of the gekko bead, and then go up through the next 15 like that. Pick up 2 again, 2 15s, and go back down through the next 15. And then turn and go up through the next 15. Okay, just like that. I'm going to do this all the way around, full circle. 2 15s again, down through the next. So the 2 seed beads here that I'm going through, they're actually like this. The holes of them are going like that. So if you want, you can try and go through both of them, but I just found it to be a pain in the butt because of the angle they're laying. So I enjoy doing it this way more. Okay, I have 3 there in a row. And I really don't have to worry about them sliding left and right because I'm going to put a delica in between these. And it just makes all the petals lay perfectly after doing this. Okay, again, pick up 2 15s, go down through this one, and I think I'll do this a couple more times, this being the first of the couple. I'll do it one more time after this with you guys, and then I'll do it all the way around and fast forward. So up the second bead. See? 1, 2, 3, 4 I've done. Again. 2 15s. Down through the next one. And then up through this 15. Pull it tight. And 2 15s again. Go all the way around. Okay, so I just put the last one in. I'm going to go up through this 15. We're full circle. Right, so I put those last 2 in, went down through this one, came up through this one. Now I have to reposition my needle and go through these 2. And I'm going to close this off by picking up a delica and going through the next 2 15s. I was kind of going to leave it there, but I just thought it looked unfinished. And I really wanted this purple delica color on the top, and plus I have these delicas in the other pieces here at the beginning, so I felt like I needed to put them in because they weren't in those flowers. Okay, so I'm just picking up 1 delica at a time, passing through the 2 15s that I added earlier. See how it's looking? To those 2. Delica again. And I'm thinking that I might just tie this flower off on the top, and then take my other tail and tie that one off on the bottom. There we go. It's turning into a perfect little circle up here. Again. And also, I have to point out that I stopped fussing with these flowers once I started adding the 15s up here. And look at how all the petals have just straightened themselves out because it's so tightly weaved together, and because of how the beads just fit together, and because I put the 15s in between the purple petals and the 2-hole daggers, it's making all the beads just fit together so perfectly. Yes, look at that. There's no fussing with the petals anymore. These here are wanting to lay down. Do you see that? I have not been pushing them down. They just want to lay down by themselves. They don't want to stand up. I have actually tried to stand them up with the needle. And do you see how they just go like that? And even upside down, shake it. They do not want to stand up. So I am so happy that it turned out that good. But what do you think about the flower? What does it look like to you? It kind of looks like a passion flower to me, or a lily, maybe a lotus flower. So yeah, it is just so gorgeous. I'm going to pass through all of these one more time. So I'll do what I did before, go like that, leave a little tail, and go through a few beads at a time. Leave a little loop is what I'm trying to say, as my marker of where I started. And I'm just gonna reinforce this all the way around. I'm actually going through 5 beads at a time. Oh, that time I went through 6. And I'm going to tie my knots in front of the delicas. That's what I will do. Okay. I'm going to come out the 15s right there. Okay. And then pull this down. Pull it tight. Yes, perfect circle. Beautiful. And then tie my knot. So all I'm going to do is go under this delica right here, just like this. This is probably going to be the easiest one to tie knots. Make a loop, pass through the loop twice. Pull the knot down, hide it in the delica, and pass through the next 2 15-ohs. Yeah, pretty easy. So I'm going to do that all the way around, tying knots in front of the delicas and hiding the knots in the delicas because they have big holes. You don't want to tie a knot in front of the 15s because it will be seen. Now if you do tie a knot where you make a loop and then pass through it once, it's not really seen, it's actually kind of hidden, but it's not worth risking on the top. So your best bet is to put the knot inside of the 11-oh delica beads, okay? I thought I would show you how I'm figuring out how to tie this off, because this is actually the first time I'm finishing this one off, and every piece I make ends differently, and that's why I always like to show you how to knot something off, because it's never the same. And when I first started making jewelry, I had a hard time tying things off because not everything was alike, and one piece I would have no knots seen, and then another piece knots would be seen. So I am going to show you what I'm doing here. So I tried going through there with my needle and it was tight like I thought it was going to be. So I took my needle off and I took my fine tweezers, they are so fine and pointy, and I just pushed the thread through the dagger. And I started seeing it coming out over here, but it was going up into that 15. So then I went to my needle and I picked the thread out, and it was like 2 millimeters long, and so I grabbed it with my fine tweezers. See? These are very handy. You have to have something like this for this. So then I'm going to pull that through, just like that. Disappeared. And it looks like I might have to tie my knots off on the top. But let's see. Let's see what'll happen. I didn't flatten my, you always gotta flatten your fire line. Put it between your fingers and then line your needle up like this and just pass it on through. You know, sometimes that people tell me that I never show how to thread the needle, and it's kind of true. I do it sometimes, but not all the time. So let's see, if I go through here, will it be easy? I don't know. I could tie a knot there. That wouldn't be hard to tie a knot right there. And then go through here. And then I would have to go through this. But I would bump into that next dagger. And I risk chipping and cracking. So I'm going up here. Through the 15. Through the petal. And through this 11-0. And it looks like I'm going to have to do it all in one shot. Because I could break those if I did like the 15 and the petal and tried to do the 11-0. I'd probably break the 11-0. Because of the angle, I would have to really force it. So I've been trying to go slower and take my time. Because I went through a period where I was breaking like 3 or 4 beads in a row. Now, oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tie knots at all with this. I can go through there. I can go through there. And I can go through there. So it's that way that's tight. So I'm going to go through here. Let me see, can I do 2 in a row? Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tie a knot in front of the gekko. So let's see what happens. Oh boy, this is so tight. Okay, I can see my needle. You know what I should have done? I'm getting through. I should have tied. No? I probably could have tied a knot there. I don't know. I think we're going to be okay though, because I really did a good job securing my other thread. And I started out with this with 2 thread paths, or yeah, through the center ring, the very first row we did. So I'm just going to tie a knot here and pull it down and go through the gekko, but be very careful. Oh, it worked. And then I have another 15. I'm going to go at an angle because this bead's kind of going at an angle. Be very gentle. If there's a lot of friction, don't do it. Even when you get to this, the bead will usually break at the eye of the needle. I feel like the 15s are the weakest. Okay, through this 15, I think I might tie 2 knots here, maybe like this one, and then go through a little bit more, or cut it off, or maybe try and tie 3 in the top. I'll see. I'm taking my time, being careful because I don't want to break. I have to go this way again. I don't want to break any beads. Okay. Also, it really helps to have a bent needle. And mine is not that bent. It's a little bit. Okay, pass through twice. 1 and 2. And then through the gekko. Yes, it's working. They're completely hidden here. Through this 15, and maybe I should cut it off here after this bead, or I can even cut it off with the gekko. I'm just a little paranoid right now. Pull it gently. Okay, went through. Up through this 15. Okay. I'm going to go for one more knot. And then I'm cutting my thread off. Right here. Okay, through the loop, one more time, now, through this bead, and I can cut it here, or maybe go through like one more. Yeah. I'm doing it here. Okay. So I always use these to cut my thread. I've never had a good pair of scissors that was able to cut fireline. I'm always chomping and chomping on it. So I always go like this, and I pull it up tight. I look very closely at it. Make sure you pull it tight so when you cut it, the thread just disappears. Because if you just hold it up and you snip it, you're going to see that thread sticking out. So I always pull it tight and then cut it. And then the thread sucks into the bead. And you can't see it. And there it is. And look at how flat it is. It's gorgeous. Those geckos don't want to stand up at all. So we really did a good job with this one. This is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. We have all the pieces made, and in part 3 I'm going to put all of them together with you guys. It's looking so good. I can't wait to do it. So this is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and like I said, I'm going to have a link for the Beadingschool Academy box down there below in the description bar, and if you can't get a hold of it at this time, I will have individual links to the materials that I'm using to make this, so you can go and buy it separately. Okay, look out for part 3. I'm going to do my best and try to edit these videos as fast as I can, but it does take a long time to edit. And sometimes things happen and I can't edit. I don't have time to edit. But I will do my best. Alright, so please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and follow me on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.